Recreation videos have become one of my favorite videos to do. This recreation video is very special to me and very personal because we're going to be recreating my mom's prom dress. And she went to prom in the 80s. Listen, check this out. Metallic pink prom dress and white lace. Just perfect. And to let you guys in on something very private, but I felt the need to share it because I don't want anybody asking some weird questions later, or some questions that might end up being weird because you don't have all the information. My mother passed away last year, very suddenly. So this project is extra special to me, and I promise it's not gonna be sad. This channel is kind of a response to that. I had played around with the idea of starting a channel, like a sewing channel, a while ago, but the place that I live just wasn't conducive for that. And then we moved into this gorgeous place, and I love my office, and it's beautiful and it's perfect for filming. I guess I just kind of really decided to go for it after that happened. Let's talk material and pattern. I'd pull up the purple table, but it is covered in stuff, so no need. We'll just do it right here. For fabric, I have this. I could not believe I found this. It is so perfect. I could not have found anything more perfect than this. My only complaint is that this fabric has some weird like dots, like holes, kind of all over. Let me show you. There's just these little like textured dots everywhere, which I mean, it's fine. You can't really see it from far away, so it's not really a big deal. And then, of course, I don't have it on my phone. Why would I? That would be silly. All right, so looking at our image, most of it is this metallic pink. Looks like it's 3 layers. And then around the shoulders, we have some white lace. I don't have white lace yet because I did not really plan ahead for this one. I did order the main fabric because I knew that was going to be hard to get a hold of and the pattern, but I figured I would get the lace at the store and just haven't. Okay, sue me. Sorry, I don't know why I'm being aggressive. And scouring the internet, I found this pattern, which is perfect. This pattern came out in 1986, so it is really spot on for when my mom went to prom. This dress is so silly. My aunt also went to prom in the 80s, and her dress was kind of similar, but it was silver. Like that same fabric, but just silver. It's a lot. Both of these dresses are a lot. I don't think I'm gonna make a mock-up of this because, I mean, this isn't something I'm like wearing a lot, so it doesn't really need to fit perfectly. So we're just gonna go off of the sizing on the back. I am between a 14 and 16 for the bust and waist. Well, this is a brand new pattern. Nobody's used this. That means I have to cut it out. Fine. I'm also gonna buy a petticoat for this because I cannot be bothered to make a petticoat. That's so much work. Do you understand how much gathering is involved with making a petticoat? Hard pass. Thank you so much. I can buy one for very little money. That's the way we are going. So says I. Never said that before in my life. Okay, what do I need? The heck is gross grain ribbon? Gross grain? I don't know. I just realized this dress is kind of the shape of the prom dress. Fun. Let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we have to cut out the pattern, which is my least favorite thing about sewing. With my really old vintage patterns, I'll trace the pattern onto another sheet of paper before cutting it out to avoid damaging it. But this one's not that old, so meh.
Then we must activate
Floor troll mode, trademarked by Rachel Maskey.
I try not to crawl around on the floor like a gremlin, but this piece is bigger than my cutting table, so I didn't really have a choice. And now we gotta cut out the rest. Wait, pause right here. Take a close look at this piece. Note that it has a V shape at the top, which would match up with the center front of the bodice. This will be important later.
Went ahead and pinned the lining together to make sure it fit, and it's a little bit big in the top, but it fits around the waist, which makes sense because remember when I said I needed to grade 2 sizes? I didn't do that. I just cut out the biggest size. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the grading now and start sewing pieces together, I guess. Look how big this piece of skirt is. I'm a little worried about the fullness of this skirt because the skirt is just 2 of these. 2 of these, and then there's another like thinner piece for the back, but it's not a lot. And it's kind of out of my control at this point because I don't have any more fabric. I used basically all of it to cut this out. The skirt is 2 layers and 1 layer gets that like kind of ruching at the bottom. So there's an overskirt and an underskirt. Anyways, the way it shines. All right, let's start sewing this bad boy together. It's been a few days since I've worked on this project, so I don't remember where I left off with you guys, but I went back and really studied the photo, zoomed in, like really got in there trying to look at those details. And first off, I cut the lining out of black fabric. Why? Very good question. I don't know, and you have to ask past Annie, and I don't think she has the answers either. So moving on, I've already cut everything back out of white, so we're ready to go and start sewing now. Except looking at the photo, and I already mentioned that there was 3 layers. I knew there was 3 layers, and yet here we are. Now, what I'm gonna do about the 3rd layer is, and I feel clever, I went through and added 4 inches to all the skirt pieces because they were too short for me. 4 skirt pieces, 2 for the top skirt, which is the one that's bunched, that's got the little ruching, little scallop. 2nd skirt layer, another 2 pieces, which is the underskirt. So we're gonna cut the 4 inches off the bottom of both of those skirts, sew all 4 pieces together. That way we have a double wide skirt that I can gather down into the width of the other skirts. And then we have our 3rd layer, and I'm gonna attach it to the lining. Girls using some brain cells today. I also noticed that there were little fabric roses on all of the like little scallop points of the top skirt. So we'll have to make those. I don't know how, but I know that there's like a zillion tutorials on YouTube, so we'll get there. Oh, I finally went and got lace for the top, but I left it downstairs, so I can't show you. Not that it's super thrilling anyway, it's just some lace. All right, I'm gonna chop the bottom off these skirts and start sewing up the lining.
Sticking the bodice together is very straightforward, and since this is the lining, I'm being a little more cavalier with it. Always brush your seams as you go. Now I'm running 2 lines of gathering stitches at the top of the skirt to attach it to the bodice. And now the lining is done.
So she's definitely not as full as I would like her to be, but womp womp. She could be a little bit tighter in the waist, but I don't think I care enough to do any more work on this. Also, you'll notice that this middle seam was sewn the wrong way. You know, things happen. It's also not quite at my waist. Am I short-waisted? I think I might be. I don't like having a center seam in the skirt. Let's go ahead and sew the top together and then we can figure out the skirts. Here we go. Let me tell you something. Come here. This fabric, this fabric sucks so bad. Okay, look at this. Every stitch has created like this little, I couldn't clip into the seams on the curve because it would just tear. So I hate it. I hate this. Oh, this is what happens when you buy fabrics online and you can't like touch them, look at them, feel them. We're gonna make it work though.
I'm measuring 6 inches from the bottom of all the skirt pieces and then trimming that off to use as the faux third ruffle layer. As I'm starting to sew the skirt pieces together, I decided to consult the instructions for the first time because a center front seam on the skirt just doesn't seem right, because it's not. Remember that piece I showed you earlier? Yeah, that's the center front. At least I figured it out before I attached the skirt to the bodice. I didn't, however, fix it on the lining because the lining can go eat glass. It was at this point that all work had to stop due to an uninvited guest. I was all set to burn my office to the ground, but someone came in to help assist this large lady out of my room and back outside. Not all heroes wear capes.
Ignore the mess that is my office, and I have pinned the top to the bottom just to check where the hem is. It is definitely more full and swooshy with that panel added. Glad I figured that out. But that's pretty typical of me on this channel. I feel like if I didn't forget something or completely mess up a pattern, it wouldn't be me. So anyways, this fabric is like surprisingly sheer. Okay, but here's our hem. This is where we're sitting right now. Minus, we'll call it like an inch for the hem. I think it needs to come up, what is that, like another like 2 or 3 inches. This is how wide the bottom ruffles will be. So I want as much of that to show as possible. I'm gonna do like a really narrow hem. Let's call it 3 inches.
After giving both skirts a narrow hem, which I guess I didn't film even though I really thought I did, I'm marking out where the ruching for the top skirt is going to go. Now it's time to attach the skirt to the bodice. I run another 2 lines of gathering stitches, and this is where things go a little south for me. When I tried to gather the skirt, the fabric just shredded and fell out. So I had to get out the freight truck and let that dry before I could finish gathering and attaching the skirt to the bodice.
Check her out. It's giving Princess Peach. She's coming together. I feel like the middle layer is a little too long. Like it's too much longer than the top layer. And maybe that's my fault. I don't know what I'll do yet. I've been sewing too long today and all those brain cells I was using earlier are now asleep. Order of operation. I'm gonna get the lining, attach it to this, wrong sides together, flip it, understitch it, and then figure out how long I need the lining to be so that you can see the ruffles as that faux third layer. I still need to make the roses. I still need to make the I don't know what this is called, the ruffle with the lace. What else? Zipper. I need to put the zipper in. I'll do that after the lining is attached. Is that it? I think that's it. Attach lining, roses, ruffle, other ruffle for the third layer. Okay. Let's go figure out how the hell to make these roses.
I read one blog post on how to make these roses, so let me pass along my knowledge to you. You line up the long strand and offset the piece just by a little. Run that through a machine. It will sew all wobbly, but that's what you want. Now here's where I took some liberties by using hot glue because I'm over it and I want this to be finished. Hot glue the center, then wrap the rest of the fabric around it and glue the crap out of it. Here's the most important part. Make sure you get glue all over your super cute nails so you're scraping it off for the rest of the night. Do not skip this step. Ah, what a totally adequate rose. I'm adding some boning channels to all the seams to keep the bodice from bunching up. Then we attach the outside to the lining and understitch it to keep the lining laying nice and flat on the inside, and then we take it over to the iron and give it a nice press.
Having some sinus issues today and my throat is very sore and my head kind of feels like it's full of liquid and I cannot for the life of me remember how to put in a zipper. It's just a zipper, how hard could it be? I guess I get no brain cells today. Genuinely should not be this hard. I've put in loads of zippers.
After banging the dress and zipper together like a caveman for a few minutes, I finally remember how to attach a zipper. I thought about doing a lap zipper, but this fabric is horrible and I didn't feel like struggling with it. So I took the easy route and just did an exposed zipper. I did something weird and it bunches up a little bit at the base of the zipper, but my big smooth sinus-infected brain decides you can't really tell and move on.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
Just wanted to share my estate sale haul really quick. Look at all these really cute floral fabrics I picked up. And this pink chiffon, bunch of lace, some cute appliques, sparkly, more lace, don't know when it's from, but it's old, and this vintage Vogue cape pattern. And I recently had the idea of making a spring witch costume because halfway to Halloween is on April 30th, 31st. And I was gonna make a Ren Fair costume to go to Ren Fair in, but then I thought of the spring witch, and then I found all this floral fabric, and it just I have to make a spring witch now, so stay tuned for that. Okay. Back to sewing. Looks so much better with the petticoat. Undergarments matter. Okay, I have got to finish this dang thing. Tired of it. Let's go.
Now it's time for the faux third ruffle layer. This fabric is fray time city, so I had to use some fray check and let that dry first. Then it's the 2 rows of gathering stitches. Since this is such a big piece, I did the stitches in 4 sections to make gathering easier. I divide the skirt and ruffle up into 4 equal pieces and then match up the pins and gather each section to fit. It takes some time, but eventually we get it sewn down.
I'm working on the top ruffles, and I'm using the lace that I just got at the estate sale, which is perfect and is also probably time appropriate because I think this is vintage lace. So here we have our lace. I folded over the top so there will be a little bit of top lace, and then you got the bottom. And then the way I'm doing this is very silly, but when you only have 2 hands, but you need to stretch your fabric, we get the toes involved here, and then I can stretch it out and pin it down. Just using my monkey brain. That's all. This is the last step. Okay, I'm gonna attach this guy. Just gonna hand stitch it down, and then she's done. This was easier than I thought it would be. Very excited for this. So, see you in the reveal. Okay, 2 things. First off, it's a little short. The dress is a little short. It's about like 3 inches too short. It's okay. Totally over like that. The other thing is, with my red hair, I look like Ariel. Looks like I'm cosplaying Ariel right now. Overall, happy with how it came out. These things came out cuter than they had any right to. And this was like a throw together thing that I did in the morning before the shoot.
should have filmed it, but like, how cute. Okay, that's all I got. If you want to see what Clara has on over there, check out this video. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye. Let's go figure out how the hell to make, how the hell?